And welcome back to Across the Board with Ian the Colonel here on Hawk Radio, hawkradio.org. And all we do is interview the best bands on the planet. Another band rocking everybody's face off right now, doing their sophomore album called White Rabbit. The band is Egypt Central. The lead singer is John Falls. John, are you there?
I'm here.
Nice. The phone's working now. That's good. Good news.
I like that.
So, first off, let's talk a little bit about the new album. This is your second album. This one's called White Rabbit, and tell everybody why it's called White Rabbit and what that means to you guys.
Well, it's actually the title track, obviously, as people are starting to find out these days that from the record, and it's really just a way of telling the story of what we've been through and taking this evil character that's basically been over us our entire career and just caused us to go through the biggest ups and downs that you can imagine. It's a way for fans to, one, hear the story without telling it in the typical way, just telling you in black and white what went on. It's a more creative spin on it. And also it's a way that they can feel what it's like to have been in our shoes as well as apply it to their everyday life because, you know, the White Rabbit is just, it's kind of like a trick. It's like, oh, hey, look at me while this over here is going on, you know, the sleight of hand, twist of fate type of thing, you know, like
right.
Somebody pulling a little magic trick on you, you know, while you're looking at the pretty girl crossing the street, somebody just picked your pocket, you know
right.
what I mean? It's one of those type of things where nobody likes to be deceived, nobody likes to be taken advantage of, and that happened to us for such a very long time that we just felt like there was a ton of people out there that felt the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John, you guys came up through Memphis, Tennessee, one of the greatest cities in the country, and the band is actually named after one of the roughest streets there in Memphis. It's not a political statement about what's going on in Egypt right now. Talk about how that background affected you guys.
Political statement.
Yeah. Talk about how that
called Egypt Central for 10 years.
Yeah, right. So, talk about how that background impacts, not only your music, but that mental toughness that you were just talking about, how to get through adversity.
Well, we've always been a band where the message has never been about the pity party. It's never been okay to just, give up or feel sorry for yourself. We've always been that band that wanted people to find that fight within themselves and, create their own positive outcome. And that continued, obviously, onto this record because, that's our message in general is to take negative stuff and put a positive spin on it. So, being from an area where things were naturally a little rough and, tougher, for the average person to find their way out, rather than just pick a band name where it would represent what we sounded like when we were, kids when we were first starting out, I think that was the one intelligent decision that we made really early on was to make a name that was about where we were from and who we were as people so that we always remembered that versus, if you name your band, Lambs of the Slaughter or Drive-By Truck Killers or, something just ridiculous, what happens when you're not that person anymore?
Right, that's a good point.
What happens when you're 45 or 50 years old and you're not that same person? And now it's just like, oh, well, if I don't make the same type of music, then I'm not accepted.
Right, something crazy like Dead Deer Dam, yeah.
About just, staying true to who we were as people. That way we could always evolve musically if we wanted to.
What exactly are people going to expect? The fans who heard your first album, what exactly are they going to expect from this next album, and how is it going to differ?
Well, I would say, I think people came and saw us live and were like, wow, you guys are so much more energetic live than you are on the record, and you guys, move more than any band I've ever seen. So I think we wanted to capture that in the recording this time. We wanted to make sure that you felt that energy that you feel live in the recording. And, we wanted to keep it heavy, even if there was going to be some stuff that could be perceived as ballady, we still wanted to bring the heavy on it. So I would say that we, rather than take that turn down sellout lane, I would tell people that we kept the energy and kept it rocking, and I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised at that.
Now, I've read, actually, your drummer, Blake Allison's been quoted as saying that your secret weapon has always been your live show, and you guys are so stoked to play this new batch of songs, this whole new album. We've never had the pleasure of seeing you live, but you're going to be playing in our area sometime soon.
Real soon.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to
Patrick's
that.
Day even.
But tell everybody, what differs, with that live show and why you have to see it.
Well, I would just say that, some people get up on a stage and they put on a show that's choreographed. The reason I think people who have come to our shows keep coming back and travel to go from one show to the next is that we may be playing the same songs live, but it's never the same show because we hit it, and it's, you know, it's like a football game for us. We just go crazy from start to finish, and we're thoroughly enjoying ourselves up there, and we're doing whatever comes to us. You know what I mean? We feed off the energy of the crowd, and it's just natural that we move like that and we go crazy that way. So it is different at every show.
It's got to be such an incredible feeling to get up there, and you're giving that energy, and the crowd's giving it back to you, and I'm sure you guys feed off of that.
I mean, you know, like I said, that ultimately we're going to get up there and we're going to go crazy because we love what we're doing. We love playing the music, and we're actually into it and enjoy it, you know, for ourselves. But when they enjoy it and they start to feel it the way we're feeling it, and then they start to let loose and go crazy and just let all that bottled up emotion that they've been carrying around loose, obviously you can't help but feed off of that and completely lose control of yourself with them. And that's something that, you know, it can't be bought or sold. It happens right there in the moment, you know.
I like a band that plays every show like it's their last, you know. That that's the most important show of their life.
Not knowing what's going to happen, so that's a really good way of putting it. You never know when it will be your last show.
Yeah.
So it's just like anything else, you know. If you played sports growing up or you did anything like that, you know what it's like now to look back and be like, oh man, you know, football's never going to be there again. Hockey's never going to be there again. They're never going to get those moments back. So it kind of makes you take advantage of and appreciate every single time you get a chance to step on stage.
Now, are you a sports fan, John? You've mentioned football a couple times.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were all athletes growing up, and yeah, we're all definitely sports fans.
What was your position then if you played football?
I played quarterback.
Nice, well done. So how do you
played linebacker? Blake played quarterback and wide receiver.
Wow. How do you guys feel about Jeff Fisher being let go then?
I'm not really a Tennessee fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Tennessee, but I grew up a Cowboys fan, so God, I know I'm going to get emails, people hating on it.
Yeah.
You don't have to hate on me. We had a bad enough season without anybody else helping.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah.
Knock it up anyway.
Yeah, doesn't help with your quarterbacks.
I'm a fan of the sport too, though. You know, I mean, like
I'm with you.
You know, I'm not one of those like, oh, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I dislike. I pick on the Eagles or the Redskins or something like that. Man, I'm also a fan of players,
right.
So I respect every one of them that are out there on the field doing it.
And
I'm not one of those that criticizes other people's teams, or I respect every one of them.
And being one that's actually been in football and playing it, you respect them for that. You've been there. You've been where they are on a little bit of a lesser scale.
You know, you don't draft yourself to your favorite team. I mean,
right.
There's dudes that play for the Cowboys that grew up hating them. That are from Philly or from Washington or from New York, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. To get back to the band, you guys have toured with some of the top. I mean, you're not newbies by any means, but you've toured with bands like Drowning Pool and Disturbed and Nonpoint, who's also a good friend of the show, the guys at Nonpoint, Papa Roach, all those bands. What have you guys learned? I mean, being that a lot of them have 3 or more albums out, you guys just put out your second album. What have you guys learned from some of those bands that you've toured with about the business or about touring or anything?
Well, I mean, I think that you learn something on every tour, and from, you know, like you said, well, actually, pretty much every one of those that you named are, you know, pretty dear friends of the band. And I mean, you learn a lot just through conversations. You learn a lot through trial and error. But more importantly, I think the one thing that you learn is that every single artist that's out there has a different set of problems and a different set of goals. And I would say the one thing that I learned from going from a local level to a national level and becoming friends with all those artists are, you know, people compete so heavily on a local level. They bash one another. It's such a competition. And then once you get to the national level, nobody's really competing with anybody but themselves. So everybody tends to be pretty good friends, you know, and it kind of opens your eyes to, I would say, that aspect and that point of view more than anything else is that there is a camaraderie and a unity on the next level. And the higher you go, I think that it's even the more in depth that goes. Like I said, versus on a local level where, you know, this band feels like they're competing with this band to get this crowd there. And it's like once you get to the next level, it's like, hey, let's all get together so that we can actually have a show with people at it.
when you guys are on the road, what really helps keep you grounded? What, you've been with all these great bands, and you're going to go on tour with Cold. What keeps you grounded? What keeps your, from getting too much of an ego?
I would say for us, we're not like a lot of bands that I've seen. A lot of bands, this guy's the most important role, or that guy's the most important role, or the singer's writing all the songs. We're just not that type of band. Everything happens with different members of this band. Joey being the main lyricist, Blake really stepped up on this record and really became one of the primary songwriters. And having Jeff back in the band, we're all four really good friends. And I think if anybody started to develop one of those, we're the type of band that have no problem knocking each other off of a pedestal.
Right. Now, how does that work? I mean, you guys have stayed together for a while. How did you guys meet as a band, and then what led you to say, this guy's definitely our bassist? He works with us on a social level as well as, instrumentally and everything. How do you guys stay together?
Well, Blake and Joey had been together for forever, and then I hooked up with them, and then when Jeff came in, it was just like, we all lived together for like 6 years. So it was never really, we kind of jumped in. Both feet in the water, so to speak, and never really looked back. It was never really an option of splitting up or being different people or whatever. It was very much like, okay, we're doing this, and we're going to tough it out. And, just like a marriage, it's almost like an agreement more than anything else. You agree that you're going to make things work with this person, You
guys had the biggest hit of your career so far with You Make Me Sick. It's such a fantastic song, and I remember hearing about the story behind that on another interview. I can't remember where I heard it from, somewhere on the radio. And tell everyone about the backstory of that song, because that's such a great song, and I really do think that there's like there's just a feeling of energy whenever you hear that song that I think really needs to kind of be explained.
Well, there's multiple stories of where that actually came from. It actually came from an internal disagreement in the band, and then multiple things that were going on with us, relationship-wise, industry-wise, and things like that. We had just hit the point where, we love what we're doing. I don't know what I would be doing if this wasn't it. But at the same time, I just hit a wall with it, how much more can we possibly take? And I think that people feel that way all the time, whether it's your boss or whether it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whoever. It's like, sometimes, man, you just get pushed to that point where it's just you hit your breaking point, and it's like, when is enough going to be enough? And I had enough.
Been there. I know what that feels like. Again, across the board here with Ian the Colonel on Hawk Radio, hawkradio.org, with John Falls, lead singer from Egypt Central. John, what is your favorite band that you guys have played with, or who would kind of be a career definer for you guys to play with?
I don't know. Career definer. Obviously, you would want to go out with like a Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, and you guys are so young in your career still. You still have so much, a lot of good years ahead of you and a lot of great music, which you're looking forward to. But maybe go ahead.
I think the couple of bands that I think we already have those. And we're fortunate enough to call them friends, or the Nonpoints, the Papa Roaches, the Drowning Pools. These are people that are dear, dear friends,
right.
Who have watched us from Jump Street till now and been very supportive of us. And I would say, probably Disturbed has been the most defining moment that I can think of, where they 100% just took us under their wing and gave us an opportunity that was, bigger than what we honestly deserved at the time from where we were. We didn't have enough merit to even be on that tour, much less be direct support, but they thought enough of the band to give us that opportunity.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And, it truly catapulted the band into a different bracket.
Yeah.
And, being out there, seeing the way that they do things, people don't realize they're such a family-oriented band. They are some of the best people I've ever had the opportunity to be around.
Yeah, that's great. And people don't see that a lot of the times. They don't see what the people are like behind the music, and that's why we like these interviews. We try to do our interviews more of a conversation instead of just a quick question and answer, so people kind of get to know you as well. So John, let's talk about how the new album, how people can get it, and how they can stay in touch with you guys. I know Twitter and Facebook. Where can they find you?
Obviously find us on Twitter.
Right.
It's easy. You can just look for Egypt Central. You'll find us. Same thing on Facebook and MySpace. You can follow us to any of the social sites like that. The record will be out May 17th. And it'll be everywhere. You'll be able to find it anywhere you want online at any store. It'll it's full distribution. It will be easy for you to find, so no excuses.
Right.
And we're really excited about this one, and I think that I think fans are going to be pleasantly surprised with this record. So I hope everyone goes out and picks it up on May 17th.
The name of the album is White Rabbit, and again, the new single is also called White Rabbit. Will be played heavily here on Hawk Radio, and you can also check the guys out, all the social places, as well as EgyptCentral.net. Again, EgyptCentral.net. It just recently announced, and I think we were just telling you about this, that you guys are going to be headlining, or actually going to be, I guess, co-headlining or whatever with Cold, touring the nation. So that's going to be an incredible show as well. Colonel and I guaranteed will be at one of those when they come through our area. I think coming through
Probably
Baltimore.
March 17th in Baltimore, I'm pretty
St.
sure.
Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great
definitely.
show.
That's going to be great.
Green beer and Egypt Central. I'm in. We're big fight fans here. We also do an MMA, I can't talk today, MMA segment, and we've had a lot of UFC fighters on the show, and of course.
Oh, well, good. I'm going to give him a shout-out from my boy Rampage.
I was going to say. I was going to say, are you friends with Rampage? Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's my homeboy. So
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, Rampage is the bomb. We'd love to have him on too, but we're big fans of him. So
I got news for Shogun Evans. I got one word for you: duck.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, Rashad's not going to fight for the title now. He got injured, so since John Jones won recently, he's got the
throw Jones in there.
Yeah, already
Oh,
in
boy.
6 weeks, that fast. So he's going to fight
Jones,
next.
Jones just needs to understand something real quick. Ryan Bader and Shogun are two completely different.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, one's a wrestler, one does everything. John, again, we can't tell you how much we appreciate the time. I know you guys are busy schedule right now, but best of luck with the new album. Can't wait to see you guys on the road. We'll definitely come hang out with you guys, try to snap a photo and all that, and meet you guys in person. Love to do that, and keep us informed. We'll keep pushing you guys and promoting the hell out of the new album.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thanks. This has been Across the Board with Ian the Colonel here on Hawk Radio.
HawkRadio.org.